Welcome to the
Hi.
Cosmic Delirium podcast. My name is V. I'm your host, and this is Cross right next to me. He's also a host, or should I say a co-host. How are you doing?
They can't answer you. You gotta. Are you asking me?
I'm asking you.
I'm great. Hello. How are you?
I'm doing great, thank you.
You look like shit.
I'm happy. I'm so happy right now. We're doing a podcast, episode 3. Yeah, this is amazing.
Yes. What's your choice of beverage, my friend? What are you drinking?
Coffee.
I'm drinking chamomile tea.
Please stop doing that. It's legit going
I'm sorry.
It's disturbing on multiple levels, and it's also quite disgusting and grotesque.
Why? What's disgusting about it?
You were acting like a fucking idiot. Yeah. So, anyways,
I just
people,
like my chamomile.
it's,
I like my chamomile.
Another
Look,
week.
I like my chamomile like I like my women, severely watered down and borderline cold.
It's another week. It's another episode. I didn't believe that we were going to make a third episode, but here we are.
What the fuck are you talking about? Yes, you did. We're gonna film the fourth one.
Yeah, but I know.
But what you're
I know.
pretending right now. You're pretending there's a different narrative to reality.
I'm not. Listen, no, I'm. It's not like I have a gun in front of me, pointed at me, and I have to film this. It's not like that's the case. No, it's.
Yeah.
I'm happy. I'm so
Smile!
happy.
Good. Hello, guys. Welcome back to Cosmic Delirium. What are we talking about today, V? What are the topics?
We'll slowly be easing in.
What are the talking points?
We'll slowly be easing into a couple of things, but we'll essentially talk about completely random stuff with a pinch of the 21st century and where humanity is going.
What do you mean a pinch? Wasn't that supposed to be the whole thing about this
Well, yeah,
episode?
it is, but I know that you're going to derail it as per usual. So,
With what? What am I going to derail it with?
chamomile tea. Yes.
I mean, it's pretty good, man. You know, you know where chamomile tea comes from?
Enlightenment.
Comes from the store, dude. Come on, man. Yeah. Anyways, I did succumb to cigarettes.
In like a day. The next day, after we finished the podcast, you started smoking again.
It actually...
You started having heart problems, that is.
No, not a heart problem.
Yeah,
It's
gastro
heartburn.
problems.
Gastro problems.
Again.
Yeah. Again. But, you know, this is brought to me an idea.
And that idea is...
Maybe I shouldn't smoke every day.
You shouldn't smoke at all. You should quit smoking, and you should only smoke when you get shit-faced. When you get that...
But then I'm going to become an alcoholic.
I
will. I know.
You won't.
Yeah, probably
won't.
right. I won't.
You won't. You've been there. You won't.
It was
go
fucking
down.
amazing.
You won't go
It was
down.
fucking amazing. I wanted to literally jump off the building
You
that I
won't go
lived
down.
in.
I know. it.
Literally, I just opened the window and I looked beyond, down, and I was like,
Tempting.
I wonder if I could land on that child. drawing pretty depictions of its future, like getting a job.
Yeah, so
dog.
that's new. Cross started smoking again. He's probably gonna quit, then start, then quit, then
I mean, it's
occasionally
better
smoke.
than continuously smoking, right?
It is, but it's better to just quit entirely.
I
if
mean,
you
yeah. I
can.
mean, look, this is the longest I've ever gone without a cigarette. 1 month and a couple of days. It used to be 3 days, then 7, then 10, then a month, then it's gonna be 3 months, then 6, then 9, and then I'll be fucking dead before we get to.
Then you'll probably start doing heroin.
What do you mean? Probably. Like as soon as we start making money off of this podcast, I'm like going off the grid. I'm buying a cabin. I'm not buying. I'm gonna steal one. Like it's not being used by anyone. I'll just steal one. You know, make a basement. Call in some illegal immigrants who need a place to stay. Hey, you know how it goes. We talked about this.
Why am I filming a podcast with this man? Why am I doing this to myself? My brain is hurting as shit. But yeah, he's not gonna do heroin. Don't worry. He's the biggest the biggest thing about this man that drives me mad to a certain extent. Is oh shit.
What? What is
my arm is hurting. I don't know what it is. They're gonna cut it off, aren't they?
What?
V, are they gonna cut off my arm? V,
What are you talking about?
V, my arm hurts.
never
It's gonna be fine.
I
It's gonna
never
be
said
fine. Don't
that.
worry. Don't worry. Don't
I
worry.
never said that.
Yeah, this is just a fictional example.
That
But
is
when you
worse
had
than I am.
when you had those heart problems,
Yeah,
these heart
I
problems,
thought I was
I'm gonna die, man. I'm gonna die.
Heart attacks, dude.
That was a thing. Then you wanted to originally you wanted to stop smoking because
Yeah.
you saw that there is a chance you're gonna get lung cancer.
Well, yeah,
And
there's
there is a chance, but
There's
you
a chance.
after smoking for like 4 years before that.
I wasn't
3 years,
aware. I really wasn't aware. I didn't know. I really.
And then he gave me a call. He
it
was
was-
like, "Man,
No,
I'm
look,
gonna
it was
get,
a shot. Look,
I'm
it
gonna
was-
have to stop smoking. I'm gonna get cancer."
Dude, you gotta stop smoking. You're gonna get lung cancer, dude. No, it was a shock.
that was
when
a thing,
It was quite a shock when I found out. I thought it was like pancreatic, the liver.
So yeah, that's the only thing I know for a fact that you won't do heroin because you are not.
Well, it doesn't cause lung cancer.
No, but it can cause multiple other
What?
things.
Which ones? See, you don't know. They're fucking lying to you. They're
Yeah,
trying
they're
to
fucking
restrain
lying.
you. They're trying to restrain
No,
your
listen.
power,
You're
man.
progressively when you start going into that heroin thing,
Uh-huh.
you progressively inject heroin inside your fucking veins
Yeah,
until you reach a certain dose
yeah.
where you just fucking overdose.
That's the idea.
Yeah, maybe he's
Well,
gonna be on
I mean-
heroin. He's retarded. You're the Asperger's. The Asperger's. That's what I was saying.
Did you think there was like a greater goal in taking heroin than like habitual suicide?
Well, there are some people who don't legit want
Well,
to
they're
do
amateurs.
suicide.
Well, they're amateurs. They're amateurs.
So
They think they can control it.
Anyways, let's start things off slowly with the topic
What
that
drugs
we have
do you
here.
think you're gonna do in the future?
If I get filthy rich, I'm probably gonna go the cocaine route.
Oh, and then
It's gonna be
and you
Viva
talk shit.
Las Vegas.
And you talk
Viva Las Vegas.
Las Vegas, Las Vegas.
Throw everything on gambling and hookers and cocaine, just like that guy.
Dude.
Do you know that video where there was that one guy who was like buying a lottery ticket and one of the reporters that was covering like the lottery story, she started asking people questions, and some of them were like, "What would you do?" She asked, "What would you do if you were to win the lottery?" And people were like, "Oh, I probably invest. I'll change my life around. I'll do this. I'll do that." And then she asked this one guy, and he turned around and she was like, "What would you do if you won the lottery?" Just like that. He answered, "Oh yeah, hookers and cocaine." Hookers and cocaine.
At least he's honest. I mean,
Yeah,
look,
he is. I mean, most likely, I will honestly do
you
that.
know what would be the best thing to overdose on?
Hookers and
Hookers.
cocaine.
Hookers. Like, because, with cocaine, you can only get, like, what, a couple of types of cocaine? Not a lot of, leeway. Not a lot of variations.
Well,
But with hookers.
I didn't do my research
With
honestly.
hookers, dude. You know how many fucking types of hookers you can, like, have sex with if you're filthy rich. Like, you could go from like the most beautiful models.
Well, they're
to-
not hookers. The hookers, by definition, at least as far as I know, are those. It's a slang word for women that are like patrolling the streets that have like pimps and stuff. These are escorts.
Okay, I mean, same shit, just pays more.
It pays a shit
A
ton
lot more. Like
yeah.
escorts. Like you could have so many different types of escorts. Like I could definitely see myself overdosing on hookers. Well, like I would just have a gangbang of so many women that it would be unmanageable, and one of them would just, they wouldn't hear me from all the sex noises, from all the
I can't breathe. I can't breathe.
and one of them, a 200-kilogram black woman, would be sitting on my face, and I'd be like, I'd be slapping her ass, like safe word, and she wouldn't hear it because she'd be making up with a midget that I bought, and I would just die, and I would overdose on ass. But that's a pretty good thing to overdose on.
I mean, dying while eating ass.
Not eating ass. That's
what you said. You ate ass.
No,
you eat ass.
I mean ass like an ass. Eating ass for me is fucking disgusting. I can't believe it's a trend. Did you ever eat ass?
No.
Yes, you did. You
No.
You just smiled.
No,
You just
I didn't.
smiled.
I didn't. I
You
didn't.
just
Yeah,
smiled.
because you're
You did
smiling.
this.
You're smiling.
You did this.
You're smiling.
No.
No.
Yeah.
I would never, Michael.
I
I
would
would
never
never.
do such a revolting thing.
No, legit, I
You
didn't.
ain't- yeah,
I
you
didn't.
did, you
I
did.
didn't.
Did you think about it?
I mean,
Yeah. You did.
Like,
You
if I can't say I would never eat ass because you never know what life brings.
Degenerate.
You never know what life brings, but yeah, I mean, I wouldn't eat it. Right now with my mindset, no.
Okay.
I see no joy in that.
Did you eat pussy?
Hey, that pussy like gross. Yeah, I mean, everyone. It's a give and take.
I don't know.
Thing.
First time I ate pussy, which is, by the
We're
way,
talking about the 21st century, ladies
yeah,
and gentlemen, where
we'll
humanity
get
is
into
going.
it. We'll get into it. First time I ate pussy was this year. It's kind of stinky. Was it stinky for you?
No.
Like, not like stinky at all.
No.
What did it smell like?
Completely neutral.
Neutral.
Yeah.
Mine smelled like it was a hint of clam. A hint. But, I mean, it wasn't like dirty. She cleaned it.
Good.
Do you have nothing to add?
I have nothing to add.
What's your favorite pussy eating position?
I really don't know. That's actually a very good question. When you think about it.
Mine is like I scoop them up. I just
The Japanese style.
Japan. I just fucking I part the trees, and I just go in and I guzzle on the pond like a gazelle.
on the orifice.
No, it's a
And the clit.
to me it's a pond. It's a beautiful pond, and I'm like a giraffe that's like, fucking extending my neck while my back is just like. And I go there and I do the work, man. I put in the hours.
You pull the boats.
I put in the hours. I pull the boats. And after that, my balls get fondled and guzzled, and it's fun.
Like
It's
I said,
nice.
it's a give and a take.
It's a give and a take, which I love. I love about sex. The more you give in sex, the more you're gonna fucking get.
The more you take.
Or the more you take. Jesus fucking Christ! Like.
Yeah, but let's we can of course always turn around and talk about random shit. Let's start things off with your take on the situation. Out of all the sci-fi books
Yeah.
that you've read, and you read probably a lot more sci-fi books than I did.
I mean, not that much.
Out of all of those sci-fi books, which usually cover like humanity and shit, which
Usually.
one did you find the most intriguing?
Oh, I don't know. The Bible was pretty good. I liked it. There was a lot of mythology. I especially liked.
Did you really read the Bible?
I read like it was like I was a teenager. I was thinking about, hey,
But
this God really exists.
But you really did read the Bible.
I actually, when I went on vacation to Greece, I actually brought a copy of the Bible, the Old Testament, and I read a third of it. And after like reading a third of it, I was like, man, who the fuck wrote this? Do people fucking read this shit? What the fuck?
Yeah, but I believe that people who there's a different perspective when you read the Bible when you're 15 years old. And
Yeah,
when you
I
read
thought
it
it was
now.
just some fucking gay shit about some tribes in Israel, and God was pissed off and shit. Now, you know, I mean, I wouldn't read it because it was written like 2,000 years ago.
Yeah, but you should. I mean, as far as I know, because I honestly, I was thinking about reading the Bible because I'm not hardcore religious. I am somewhat religious.
You believe in God?
I believe there's something. I'm not sure if you can
Oh,
define
you're
it as
one of
God.
those
Yeah.
assholes.
Yeah.
Dude, man, there's just fucking something, dude. There's gotta be fucking something out there.
Yeah, I believe there is something. You can call it God. You can call it, I don't know.
Just gotta be something, man.
But that's just my take on this.
Okay.
Honestly,
What do you think
And,
it is?
I don't
I
know.
think it's a chubby alien that designed this whole experiment with a piece of its DNA millions and millions of years ago,
this
and then
is-
its DNA like evolved into everything, every living thing that there is, and it's like looking from its magic orb that is actually technology from a different dimension, but this is like Earth and shit, and it's going like, what the fuck did I do?
No, actually, the first thing when I went to school and when I started like thinking by myself about things, the first thing that actually crossed my mind I was like, I don't know, second grade, third grade, I don't know.
Yeah, not a great time.
And when I was at that age, I was overly interested in a lot of things, and after like discovering, oh, maybe we're not alone in the universe, maybe there's like aliens, extraterrestrial life, and stuff. Aside from already I was also introduced, of course, that there is God, there are saints, there is all of these different aspects. We also started learning about like the basics of like evolution and how it.
Is that kind of fucking weird?
Yeah,
Like at your home, your parents are telling you, like, there's God is real and God made you, and then you go to school and you're like, oh, so we came from primates, and you're like, what? Wait,
yeah.
what?
And the thing is, I mean, and my parents also, they are also fairly religious. They're not hardcore religious. They do also have the same
They wouldn't
point
like
of view.
crucify a gay person.
No.
Okay, respectful.
No, I mean the same viewpoint that I have to some extent. They also share that world view with me.
Okay.
And the thing is, like I said, when I was like second, third grade, and when you get all of this information jumbled up into your head, the thing that actually crossed my
you
mind,
get the fucking Jimmy Neutron head.
yeah,
Oh,
yeah,
brain freeze.
yeah. The thing that actually crossed my head wasn't like, oh, maybe God created us, or maybe it was an evolution. I firmly believe that. Well, wait, if there is life outside of Earth, and if these people could really like travel to like other planets, and I still didn't know that it takes like light years to travel and all that stuff.
You thought,
That was
hey, it's like 30 kilometers away.
Yeah, and I was like, yeah, if
It's like,
there
it's
is
like right next door.
if there is an alien species that can travel from one point to another point in galaxy, maybe they're so advanced that maybe they actually like dropped like some other like
some sperm.
no, not some sperm. For example, I thought at the time that
Some
maybe
fungi.
it was either like a Superman thing where maybe their planet went to shit and maybe they just came down to Earth and started like from zero because they didn't have the tools to fix the shit,
And we're like
the ship and
We're
everything.
like
Yeah,
the
yeah, yeah.
offspring.
The offspring of theirs,
We're the
or
degenerate offspring.
yeah,
you know,
that was like the first theory I had, and the second theory at the
Uh-huh.
time was like, maybe this is all just a test experiment, just to see if they could start life from literally like nothing.
Wait, you thought about that when you were in 3rd grade?
Literally, I don't know why it
dude,
crossed my fucking
you know what I
head.
did in 3rd grade? I sniffed glue and was bullied. That's what I did.
Yeah, but I mean, I also had that phase, but I was overly interested in things, and my imagination was running wild.
Nice.
I didn't have like my imagination wasn't so fucked up that I had like an imaginary friend. I wasn't lonely and stuff because I had an old PC where I played like games and shit.
Yeah.
And all of my spare time I literally just played games. I would like talk with people who were much older than me and would ask these stupid questions just to learn.
That must have been.
Yeah, but they were like at the time they were like
How old are you?
they were like at the time
How old are you?
yeah, they were like at the time that's the thing that surprised me actually. They were like, "Wait, you know about this stuff?
You don't want to fuck me?
No, you know about this stuff? Where did you get that stuff?" And I was watching like out of the television and everything. I watched a shit ton of cartoons, and I watched a shit ton of like Discovery, National Geographic, and all that shit.
Yeah.
And when
Bear
they had
Grylls.
my favorite thing was, aside from watching like those old school shows like Ed and Eddie, Cow and Chicken, all those fucked
Cow
up
and Chicken.
cartoons.
Remember
I
that
en-
fucking demon with the big ass?
Yeah.
God damn that! I was always like, I wasn't scared of him. I was just weirded out. Like, what is this? What is
Yeah,
that thing?
what is that?
He's
thing?
like, oh yes. Wait, I mean, and he was like naked, but there's I don't know. I had weird sexual awakenings when I was a fucking child because everything was just confusing. Like Dexter's mom pops up. Yeah, have you ever seen how thick Dexter's mom?
Man, she's
Well,
thicker than an oatmeal.
Holy fucking shit.
Yep.
Holy shit.
Yep, that was
And like, the myriad of goth chicks that there were in cartoons and shit that were hot. They were deliberately animated to look hot. Let's not lie. Like those cartoonists were like, fuck yeah.
Yeah, but at the time, I didn't consider it that way since
I was
when
obsessed. I was
Ah,
obsessed.
yeah, I didn't.
I was like, oh my god, what is wrong with me? Like, when the hormones start kicking in, and you just get these raging boners where you can't fucking control it, and you don't even know what it is. Like, this is still new to you, This is the first time you're getting
the
boners.
exploration, the exploration
that was-
/ discovery
See,
phase.
when you were 3rd and 4th grade, that's what you were thinking about, fucking space and shit. I was just like obsessed with my sexual awakening because it was just so explode. It was just my
No,
dick
we-
pops out. I'm like, I literally thought I was going insane because a girl from class passes me and I look at her and I'm like, I don't even know what I want to do to her. I just know that the lower body needs to move in that direction where she is. That's what that was my preoccupation. Even still to this day, I am ruled by my
your passion.
by my sexual passion. I literally wake up at 4 a.m. with a boner, and I'm like, okay, we got to do this, or you'll never go back to sleep. I have a problem.
You have a problem, yeah.
I have a problem,
But
and
when you put it in perspective, a lot of like this is the thing that kind of fucked up our generation and generations before us. The thing is, I literally have nothing against porn, But
I do. It's really bad for you.
yeah, but the thing is, when we grew up with the internet and shit, and I remember when I discovered, like, oh shit, what the fuck is this? Like, I didn't know what it is, but I was like, man, what?
You're talking about internet or porn on the
Porn.
internet? Oh, yeah?
And at the time when I discovered, like, that this was not like porn typing in like Google and shit. The first time I actually saw a porn video was when we had like there were no, like, we didn't have any smartphones at the time. You had those regular phones, small screen, keyboard.
God,
and
can you imagine sitting at your computer and fucking masturbating? Like, now that you have a phone, like,
Yeah.
can you imagine doing that?
I mean, there's still people that do it.
Well, they're degenerates. That's like, you have a phone.
You do.
You have a phone. Like,
You
well,
do.
I need it to be quality, and I need to see every fucking.
I mean,
pixel there.
you can definitely see it's
If
the
you
same.
live alone, good for you.
Listen,
Good
it's
for
the
you.
same
More
the same
power to you.
quality. The same quality that you're gonna get on the PC is going to be the same quality on your phone, but it's the screen and everything is gonna be different.
Fuck it. Who gives?
I mean, honestly, but yeah, the thing is, I recall.
You can just hyper focus your Asperger's on the little screen, you know, burn your retina and have the image, the disturbing images that you see burned into your cranium, and so you never forget about it. So it can wake you up at 4 a.m. like a demon taking a hold of your loins and demanding you to
way
rattle
too
it.
far, man. Way too far. But yeah, as I said,
Yes.
when I discovered it, it was actually you didn't even have Bluetooth at the time.
No Bluetooth. no.
We had those infrared transfers, and you had to like push your phone.
Yeah,
at
you had
one
to push
end,
your
and
fucking phones.
You literally
like this
stand
shit.
together and you wait, and it was
You're like
it was-
sweating.
yeah,
You're like
yeah.
focusing, like,
It's an illegal
don't move,
transaction.
Don't move, man. Don't move.
And I remember, I can't recall which friend it was, but I remembered that he had, and he was like, "Man, watch this shit, man." And he played it and was like, "What? What?" And I recall, to some extent, visual confusion and excitement. Like,
Yeah.
what the fuck is this?
That was the moment, the full potential of your reptilian brain, which only wishes to eat and fuck, was unlocked.
Literally tune in the background, Interstellar, like, da, 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 and you're like, I am the universe.
And then, like, 3 seconds later,
And I recall, I was like, what the fuck is this? And we literally, I believe, went into the bathroom because, I mean, in the background where you're transferring that shit, the video was still somewhat you could see the video. It wasn't played because it was a shitty phone.
yeah.
But it literally had, I don't know how many megabytes, and we stood like there like, oh man, it's gonna be done soon. He's like, man, just shut the fuck up, fuck up. It's gonna come any moment. And
Dude, you never saw me. Do you understand?
you never saw me, man.
You didn't get this from me, man.
And yeah,
I'm not going back to prison.
yeah, and I recall that was like the first time I was like, what the fuck? And I saw that, and after that, I recall it was probably a couple of years later, because after that, it was the things that, like, you had the progressional phase of pornography where you had like, I believe, like Playboy and shit, like those magazines.
Oh, I didn't have that.
No, we didn't use that, but I'm saying you had that shit, and then it transferred over to like those
Internet pics.
internet pics plus pics in the
Yeah,
phone,
yeah, low
videos
quality
in the
videos,
phone.
German torture porn.
It was fucked
Do
up,
it.
and all of a sudden, internet kicks in,
Pornhub.
and you have these free websites where you could watch
Just
porn at any
full-on
given
porn.
time.
Full-on
And they do
porn
know-
whenever you fucking want.
And I do know one thing for a fact is, out of most people that I do know, I believe that maybe 80 to 90% of those people, and they're all like normal guys. They're not like fucked up in the head.
Sure.
No, it's a fact.
I didn't
Like,
say anything.
and they're not fucked up in the head. And there are some people that are, but the thing is, most of them are addicted to that shit. We all are.
I think the only ones that are not addicted are people that castrated themselves or those Amazonian tribes that have still not been contacted?
The thing is, I believe that there's people, just like you said, those people,
Mhm.
and you have people that were a part of a male population that were obsessed with
Yeah,
that shit,
they're now school shooters.
and they stopped
And they're in
doing that because Zen shit and all of that.
Nah,
like,
that's bullshit. That's
yeah,
bullshit.
yeah.
That's bullshit. Oh, I'm one with the universe. Because it's a chemical thing.
Yeah,
It's a chemical thing. It has nothing to do with your fucking. I'm one with the universe, and that doesn't change the fact that you're like 23 years old and your body is telling you we need to fuck.
But it wasn't.
We
Listen,
need to fuck.
it wasn't. It
We need
wasn't.
to fuck the
It
fucking
wasn't.
bitch.
It wasn't. It wasn't.
because your body is literally making you make babies.
Yeah,
because
but
you need
the
to make
thing-
babies.
the thing
that's
is-
that's
listen,
nature
the
telling
thing-
you if you do
that's-
not pass on your DNA, you are a failure of a person, and that's why you get incels and shit.
Listen, but the thing is with that, it wasn't always like that. Before, people, at least as far as I know, like I said, I'm not generalizing. I'm just talking from people's experiences, from older people that I've met and talked, and at that time, it wasn't a problem. It wasn't like an addiction thing.
Yeah, because it took some time to become.
It wasn't an addiction thing when you were like 23 years old. Now, when you're like constantly like horny and shit.
Yeah, because
And 23 years old like 20 years ago.
yeah, because your brain is like still fucking plastic, and it gets used to the dopamine loop of porn,
Yeah.
and then you're fucking addicted.
It's just like cigarettes, coke, any kind of addiction.
Yeah.
It's fucked up, and that's the thing. So yeah.
Did you remember when you first like whacked the old wick? Did you remember? How did you do it? Like, was it? Did you automatically like do the pop or
No, it was confusing as shit.
Well,
I
what
didn't
did you
know.
do? I remember exactly what I did. You know
I
what I
did-
did? I did like I fucking like just fucking moved it
It
around.
was-
I
it
literally
was-
did this.
It was.
I just moved it around. I was like, fuck. I was just trying to figure out the control.
It was like,
yeah.
I believe.
Literally, my parents are not at home, and I'm like, I can afford to try to test out the controls. Like, what the fuck? What the fuck?
How do you drive this thing?
What the fuck? And you know, and then it turned into like, fucking some. I don't know, like I was like petting it and shit.
I remember from It's Always Sunny. I don't know why I recall that situation, but there is a scene where Frank, aka Danny DeVito, is sitting at the table, and there is their like cousin or something like that, and she's sitting right next to Frank, and her mom is like, "What are you doing, Lucy?" And she's like, I'm giving a hand job to Frank." And Frank is like, "No, she isn't. She's just mashing it." He's just smashing it.
I was literally mashing it. I was literally fucking mashing it, and you know, it's actually quite embarrassing how long it took me to like I had it was like 7th grade, because I never talked to anyone about, fucking masturbating, because I thought
We don't have like this. We don't have. I believe there is a thing at school, at least in the Western country. Yeah, sex education.
But we had sex ed in my little hometown, but it didn't talk about masturbation.
They just talk safe.
No, they just said, hey, when you
Do the thing.
I'm like,
Do the nasties.
do what? The fucking. I'm like, okay, use a condom. Okay. Good. I'm like, what?
Thank you.
What?
That's very clear.
Okay, how do we put one on? How do we put one on if we're circumcised? How do we put on one if we're not circumcised? How do we determine the size? What the fuck? If I didn't have the internet, like I had to figure out this year. This is the year I like. Okay, this is gonna be embarrassing, but how old am I? I can't remember. I was thinking about it today. I can't remember if I'm 22 or 23.
Well, let's say 22.
Am I 22?
Just to make things much more simpler for everyone.
Am I 22?
And less embarrassing.
Are you sure?
You're 23.
I'm 23. Okay, fuck me. Because I forgot. I forgot today. I was like trying to remember. It keeps happening to me. I will die with Alzheimer's. I will forget all of my friends and family. It's going to be a great book to write. But what was I talking about, V?
You were mentioning, talking about how you discovered this year that...
This year. I like had no fucking idea how to put a condom on. I was like... because you know those times when you're still a virgin, you're like, oh, you buy a condom just in case? Like, you get to have sex just in case when you go to a party and shit? Yeah, I was like so sure that it was not gonna happen. That I never bought one. You know what the most fucked up thing is? I had opportunities, but there were two problems. I was too stupid to notice. Now, in hindsight, I can fucking see. I was too stupid to notice. And second, even if I did, I'm like, I didn't bring a condom. And it may be for the best that it didn't happen because, you know, you wanna be like slightly proficient with putting on a condom before you.
Yeah,
have
you don't
sex.
want you don't want it to
You
be
don't wanna
an
fucking
awkward
embarrass
situation where you're
yourself.
like, yeah, just give me a minute. 10 minutes later.
You're
Oh
like,
yeah, I'm almost there. I'm almost
okay,
there.
I'm opening it, and you're like, she like sitting, you know, fucking, you know. She's wetting.
She's like I'm way too drunk for this. Let's go to sleep. And you're like, oh wait, I'm almost there.
Oh, wait, I got it. You got some scissors. But look, if she really likes you, if a girl really likes you, she'll like guide you through it, almost in a weird maternal way. That happened with me with the first girlfriend I had sex with.
Mm-hmm.
I had a girlfriend before that, but we never got to the sex part because I didn't want to, you know, because I was going to break up with her and I didn't want to be like, oh, I'm going to fuck you now, we're going to break up. Because she was a fucking psycho. She's like, we'll get into it some other time, but with this girl, I can tell you, I could not have chosen a better person to lose my virginity to. Because she was like, she was completely patient, and she told me which condoms to buy. And there was a problem with the condoms, by the way. I don't know if I told you this.
I believe you did.
I bought like
the wrong size.
I bought like the standard size.
Yeah.
And I'm like, all right, these should fit. And they were like...
a standard guy. This should be fine.
I'm a standard guy. I say 2 meters tall, weighing almost 100 kilograms. And I tried to put it on. I even talked to one of my friends. You know him. He's from... I can't...
From your hometown.
No.
From around.
Town next.
Yeah, I know
the guy.
The lad. The Chad.
The Chad. And he I had this 1 hour and 30-minute talk with him over the phone because we have like this brotherly thing going, me and him. Mm-hmm. You know, a very, very, very weird brotherly thing. And he's like trying to take care of me and shit. And he like explains to me, so when you buy the condom, you got to pinch the top for the air so it doesn't fucking break when you have sex. You slide it on, and you'll see it's very intuitive. I'm like, okay, how long should I try to last? And he's like, oh man, try the first time you have sex is gonna be shit. I'm gonna tell you right now, Mark. All right, it's gonna be shit. I'm like, okay, I guess. You know, I was all pumped up and shit. So I bought like 10 condoms because I wanted to test out, before we had to have sex. So I try to put one on. And it's just fucking, just picture a banana, ladies and gentlemen. And I'm putting on the condom, and it goes halfway down the root. It goes halfway, and then it just won't keep going. It can't fucking fit. I'm like, what the fuck?
I am a mistake.
I thought the first thing, like, oh my God, your dick is broken. Like, oh, you got a weird dick. No. And I take off the condom. I try to put on another one. Same shit fucking happens. Like, God damn it. Why does everything have to be retarded about you, Mark? You goddamn son of a bitch. I tried the third one. I tried the fourth one. And I'm literally like, now, Mark, are you going to do the childish thing that would happen definitely in a movie and pretend when your girlfriend comes around and you're going to like pretend you know how to put a condom on? Are you going to tell her, hey, I need some help. This is my first time. And she knew I'm a virgin. I was a virgin. She knew, it was my first time and shit. And I hit her up and I'm like, hey, baby, little bit of a dick issue over here. She's like, don't worry, don't do anything. I'll be there. She comes around, and we fucking can't put on the condom. And she's like perplexed too. She's like, what is this? What is this?
Witchcraft.
Like, and when we managed to put it, like, put the whole condom on, it didn't feel good. The ring part?
Yeah, it was way too tight.
It was squeezing the blood out of my dick, which was making it go limp mid-sex. So, the first time I had sex, it was shit.
You were just mashing.
It was shit. I was just fucking mashing. Like, she was like going, and I'm like, if this is sex, I'm going to kill myself. I am going to fucking kill myself. If this is what everyone is hyped about, I am literally going to jump off a building because I have been fantasizing about this moment for my whole adult and young adult life. And, I couldn't even come. I couldn't. It was not possible. I couldn't do it. It was literally impossible. She had to finish me off, And I talked with my friend who was like giving me all this advice. He's like, well, do you have the fucking right size? I'm like, of course I have the right fucking size. Does it fit you? Yeah, but it squeezes me. Dude, go on the internet, check your dick circumference and your length and see what condom size you gotta wear. I'm like, okay. So we go on the internet and I check let's do it on the phone. Because I gotta refer to inches too, because so circumference, like the fucking how thick your dick is.
Yeah.
So I checked the length, it's like, 16. Oh, standard shit. Should be like a normal condom for it. Then I checked the circumference.
Oops, I dropped my Magnum condoms.
And I check.
Another reference for It's Always Sunny.
And it's like 15 centimeters, which is 6 inches thick.
Impossible.
And I'm like, I see that, and I'm like, oh, okay, probably pretty standard. Meanwhile, let's see, average penis girth. Okay, the average erect penis is 13 centimeters, which is like 15 inches, okay? Girth measurements are like the regular, for an erect one is like 459.
So the entire thing, we narrow it down to the following situation: you get enlightened
I get
by
enlightened that
by
I
the
have to
internet.
wear XXL condoms. I didn't believe it at first. I had to double check like 3 to 4 times because
And this is the enlightenment.
I mean, look, it's not even super long. Like it's pretty average.
Yeah,
It's the thickness that was the problem.
the thing is, if I recall, I mean, condoms, even standard ones. Since I saw there are these people for some reason on the internet that like do all of these random stuff. I recall these channels. These are the most retarded channels ever. Like those life hacks channels, and literally they do the most retarded things there. From like how to chop up, how to chop up
condoms in a refrigerator
no. The fucked up thing is they do like all of those things with vegetables, how to chop them up. Then it just transfers all to a second part, how to put a pen, how to store pens and
How
shit.
to disappoint your
And-
parents and ruin your
Yeah,
relationship with
all
them.
of these life hacks things, they're meaningless. They're stupid. No one, they're not practical. And out of nowhere, I mean, since it's like a reel, which lasts like 30 seconds, 20 seconds, I don't know. But I saw a woman do something with the condom, and I believe it was a standard one. But she literally like pulled it, and it was huge. Like it's not, it's much bigger than like even the largest dick ever. And I'm like, yeah, these things are pretty pretty long. Yeah. Since I never, I mean, why should you in the first place buy a condom? Like, let's see how far this thing goes. So,
What was the life hack about?
about something stupid. It's so stupid I actually forgot. But she used a condom.
She just extended the condom.
Yeah, and she placed some things in it, something
What?
like that. Something stupid.
Why?
I don't fucking know.
Why?
It's just retarded. But all in all, the thing that I wanted to say is, I actually forgot.
Welcome
Yeah,
to the club. You're going deranged.
the
just like me.
the thing is, I wanted to actually transfer over to a different story.
Wait, let me just finish.
Oh yeah, sorry.
No, literally.
Respectfully.
Respectfully. So I put on the XXL, and sure enough, it's just like my friend described. Pinch the top for the air, and it fits like a glove. And I was like, and this was like in front of my girl. She's like spread, she's ready. And I'm like, oh my God. And I was like so amazed that I forgot I was supposed to have sex.
Leaves the apartment, knocks on the neighbor's door. Look at this!
Check this out, man. Like,
Neighbor cries, calls the police.
oh my God. Get out. Get off of my porch right now. I have children. And I will shoot you. But yeah, I was so surprised that I forgot I was supposed to have sex. Like, I was just standing there like, you fucking... I'm looking at my dick and I'm going, good job, little boy. Good job, little man. Good, fucking great. Good for you. And she's like, I'm like, all right, yeah. And I, you know me. I told you.
You
I
did
told
the
you
thing.
how I
You plowed the lawn.
I told you how I was manipulated into fucking like an animal.
Yeah, well, this is
Traumatized
even
me.
too much.
We'll talk
for
about it
me.
more. Don't
We
worry.
won't.
Don't worry.
Hopefully, we won't.
By the way, we're this is not gonna be like the hey, let's talk about 21st century future. We're gonna be talking about sex. Fuck it.
I recall a thing that I did.
How was your first time when you had sex? How was your first? Yeah. Sorry. I just never. I don't have a lot of people to talk to about these intimate subjects. Especially people that I care about. I want to see. I want to compare. Like, are we both traumatized in the same way?
We're actually not. I mean, comparing my story to yours, it's not as fun.
No.
I do recall.
Was it sad?
No. It was normal. I mean, the thing is, it was so normal that I was quite frankly disappointed. I was quite frankly disappointed. I was like, I had these these, like you said, it's initially before you actually lose the V card. You think that's going to be
V-card?
a V card, a virginity card. That's what you call it, a
What
V
the
card.
Fuck.
Yeah,
Who calls it that?
people do.
No, they don't.
Yeah, they do.
No, they don't.
Yeah, they do.
I've never heard.
The thing is,
call it that.
a V card.
No, I
Luckily, yeah.
I
The thing
understand.
is-
I understood that.
Yeah.
But I didn't want to acknowledge it because it's so disgusting.
So this is my experience, at least. I was so hyped for that thing. I had a girl. I immediately knew that this was gonna be it. Like, as soon as I was with her, I knew exactly that. Yeah, we're probably going to do this if we manage to reach like a couple of months, maybe even before that, since it was.
Yours was like you thought a couple of months.
Yeah, because I didn't lose my virginity. My first sexual experience wasn't like 20 years old or something. I was younger.
No.
Yeah.
Oh.
So the thing is, I was like, yeah, a couple of months. We'll see how it goes. Since I didn't talk to her whether she was like a virgin or not, we didn't discuss that. I was just like riding along. We hit off good. I was just like, yeah, I'm not gonna rush things. I'm honestly not in a rush. I'm just gonna see how it goes, and it went good. And I recall when we first had sex. That is my first sexual experience since she wasn't a virgin. I was like, man, of course I'm gonna use a condom. That's a given. But I knew how to use a condom even before that. I didn't test it out because
You didn't?
No, I didn't.
Really?
Yeah, I knew how
The
it worked.
Balls on this guy.
I knew how it
How
worked
the fuck did you know?
because I was a sexual educator. I literally went to middle schools because I was a part of this organization.
No
And-
shit.
Yeah, and they were like, yeah, people go to middle schools. You have like groups of 2-3 high school students, and you go there. Like they were like 8th graders just before they went to high school, and we literally went there and we talked about like safe sex.
Wait, did you show them like a banana? And
I had a cucumber, and it was like. I mean, I recall the scenario.
the stanky one that's been used for generations.
I recall the scenario. Now, this is the story that I actually wanted to talk about because
Uh-huh.
it's much more fun than actually me losing my virginity. Since the only thing I can say about that was disappointment. Like
Okay.
after we were done and everything, it lasted fairly long.
You're like, I want to break up.
No, wait, it lasted fairly long. I was like, man. All of those porn scenes and shit that I saw before, it was bullshit.
No.
And I was disappointed. But yeah, it was nothing special. But this was fun. I went to middle schools and I entered the classroom with, I believe there was another person with me, or maybe I actually went to the classroom alone. And their teacher was like, hello, kids, this is V. He's going to talk about, since you're at that age, he's going to talk to you about intimacy, how to have sex.
Intimacy.
Yeah, because their teacher...
Okay, children, this is how you caress
she
the
didn't-
shoulder.
she
The
didn't-
clitoris is
she
to
didn't-
be targeted first.
She didn't want to name it sex because
Why just
she
not
was...
call it what
Yeah,
it is?
yeah, because she was an older... She was literally, I believe, a couple of
my
years. Yeah.
fucking
So it would have
God.
been kind of awkward for her. I'm not sure, but she was like,
Why?
yeah.
Why?
She didn't refer about sex, but she was just talking about safe intimacy, blah blah blah. And she was like, yeah, I'm gonna leave the classroom now, and he's gonna stay here, behave. If you misbehave or anything, he can.
That's when you transfer all the porn to their phones. When she leaves, you're like, yeah, check this out, motherfuckers. They're like, holy shit!
And she left the classroom. I entered the classroom, and I was like, yeah, hello, people. My name is V. I'm here to talk about sex. And when I mentioned sex, they were like, like, I mean, it's like embarrassing.
Like little fucking gremlins.
And I was like, yeah, does anyone...
What was the age difference between you?
Probably a couple of years. It's not that much. As I said, they were
How old
near...
were you?
I know, like 15, 16,
And they were like, what?
13,
Okay.
14. I'm not sure. Not sure which age specifically. I think you go to high school when you're like 14. 15, give or take. I can't recall. But I believe 14. So they were like 13, 12, maybe if someone started school at a younger age. But yeah, and I'm like, let's talk about sex. And they were like, and I'm like, yeah, let's do this.
Yeah.
And I immediately went into the fucking bag.
This is how we do anal.
I went into the bag. I grab a cucumber.
Are there any volunteers?
And they're like, shit, this man is serious. He's really gonna talk about this.
He's a professional.
And I'm like, okay. I assume that everyone knows what this is, and they grab a condom that's already like that's neatly packed up. It's not unpacked, and I'm like, I assume that you know what this is.
Was it a neutral brand or
No.
were you fucking sponsored?
It wasn't a sponsorship, but they had fucking like I believe it's Durex. Like the standard, it's a standard thing. I mean, they're expensive as shit though. So I was like, yeah, they're branding we're giving these brands.
Yeah,
to the
you
children.
were like those NASCAR drivers
and
with
this
the
is
jackets.
this is the thing though, and I was like, does anyone here? Because I said like you obviously know what this is. They're like, yeah, that's a fucking condom, and I'm like, yeah, good job. And I was like, does anyone here know how to put on a condom?
I know. He fucking
And-
pulls his pants.
And the thing is, out of all of these like children in the classroom, everyone just went dark.
Oh,
and I'm like,
shit.
My dad knows.
and I'm like, yeah, okay. I'm probably embarrassed, and I see a fucking hand from one guy in the back,
Professor,
and
I know how to pull one on.
and you know these like in middle school and even in high school, you have like this sort of like hierarchy always, and it's always like the people who are on top of the class, like those charismatics, don't give a fuck boy attitudes.
Animals.
And he was like,
literal animals.
yeah, I know how to do it. And I'm like, yeah.
Hey, professor.
Come
Hey, what the fuck? I know. Give me that. I'll show you.
And I'm like, yeah, come over here. And
Oh,
he comes around. I'm like, you want me to hold the cucumber for you?
This is what your mother taught me. Hey, you're not so bad, professor.
You want me to hold the cucumber? And he's like, yeah, just until I open it up. And I'm like, okay. And he started struggling actually opening the condom up. And after like 30 seconds,
After
he
like
opened
30
it.
minutes of silence.
He opened it and he took the condom, and
Hey, what the
I
fuck?
hand him over the cucumber, and he just placed it. And I'm like, okay, thank you so much. You can return to your seat. And he's like, yeah. And he returns to his seat, and I'm like, I'm like,
you're welcome.
and I'm like, yeah, you now show how you don't want to do it. And he sits down and he's like,
Wait, this is like where you did it wrong.
yeah.
This is like how you don't do it.
Yeah, and I'm like, so now we saw an example.
Oh.
Like, you don't want to do it this way.
Oh,
And he's
shit.
like,
He's like, goddamn motherfucker.
I wasn't supposed to do that.
Motherfucker.
I wasn't supposed to do that. And I'm like, yeah, it's fine. I mean, it's fine. The reason why you don't want to do it that way is because there is a possibility that it can
You peel
break.
your dick off.
It can break, and it can cause unwanted pregnancies.
first
And they
time-
started.
The first time my condom broke, I was like, holy shit.
But I actually started. This was a pitch, sort of, because when he fucked it up, I'm like, yeah, so the condom can break, and when it does break, a couple of things can happen. So I start talking about like all
You'll
these
get
potential
AIDS,
infections.
You'll get chlamydia. You'll get fucking crabs.
I did mention HIV, but I mentioned it very briefly because at that age, chances are very small.
Dude, but look, you had the perfect opportunity to fuck up like 30 kids. You could have gone and went like, we put the condom on the penis to prevent the worm from leaving your pee hole when you finish.
Listen, you would if I were
The
to
worm,
do that.
and you could like draw the diagram of like this creepy fucking thin worm. You know, like they were like from the Amazon, the penis
Listen,
fish.
I didn't want to do that simply because I mean, it will be.
Imagine the fucking consequences.
It will be literally like, this man is worse than the fucking devil. He
No,
fucked
but
up.
look, they would. I think a lot of kids would be like traumatized from that shit, especially if you were older.
If I was, yeah.
and if you like really did the diagram thing, like drew it.
Yeah, so just to keep it brief, I started explaining about like the consequences and shit. I showed them how we were supposed to do that. I then asked, because the thing is, when you're when you're trying to teach someone something, the best kind of teaching is once you explain how it's done, once you show how it's done, someone has to actually do it again, just so you can see if they got a grip. And I'm like, yeah, come the fuck over here, let's see if you can do it the second time. Because once again, if I were to call anyone
Thankfully,
again,
you only made the boys do it, right?
yeah.
Thank fuck.
And he came around and he was like, yeah, you're fucking with me. I did the correct way. And I'm like, yeah, to some extent, but there is still a chance that you can potentially fuck up.
It's not perfection.
And he did it, and he did it properly. I'm like, yeah, good fucking job. He went back to his seat, and I'm like, yeah, good job. Thank you so much for paying attention. Appreciate it. Here's everyone some fucking eye candy, and I gave them like 2 condoms and stuff like
you
that.
get them candy and condoms.
No, just condoms. I call it candy. But I literally gave them all condoms because that was like the end of the presentation. You hand them out.
Again?
I believe like 14,
How
13.
many of them do you think made balloons out of the condoms?
I believe no one.
Probably everyone.
The kids on the grind, I believe they actually
On the
sold them.
grind.
They sold them.
Oh my god.
They sold them.
Yeah,
I know what I did with my boys, since we had like all of these extra condoms and shit. We were on the grind. We had this one guy. He's still a very good friend of mine. He was like always on the hustle. He was like, man, you want some condoms? And they were like, man, what the fuck?
Man?
These condoms cost like, I don't know, like €2.
Okay.
€1 like a piece. He's like, I'll sell it to you half a price. Because when you go to the shop,
Did he fucking steal condoms, or did he get them?
no,
the
we
same
got
way
we
you
got
did?
we got copious amounts. Copious
And he
amounts.
just
of
sold
condoms.
them.
He just fucking sold them.
Jesus
He
Christ.
did a good fucking deed. He sold the fucking condoms.
Yeah, that's the free market.
Yeah.
That's
And
free market
he
capitalism.
profited from it. People were happy. He was happy, and he made a quick buck.
Nice.
Yeah.
And then he bought glue.
And he
With the
sniffed
money.
it,
And
ingested it.
Do you know my my late grandfather? We're like sitting, and this is his talk about drugs he tried to have with me. Now, my granddad, he was a very big guy, a very, very obese individual, 150 kilograms, just a bit shorter than me, couple of
A
centimeters.
unit. He was a unit.
A unit. A true, like, the look on my face describes, like, the physical appearance. Like, huge fucking stomach. We're, like, sitting, we're eating, and this is how he tries to determine whether I'm doing drugs. He's like, when I was 13 years old, I used to sniff glue. And he looks at me like this. And I look at him and I'm like, okay. And he's like, oh. Still fucking looking at me. Like, I thought about that, the sniffing glue. Like, what, did he put glue in his nose? What? But then, later I found out you get a bag and you fill it with glue. I think that's a very Slavic thing, sniffing glue.
Yeah, I don't.
That's a very
know.
post-communist Slavic thing.
I don't know if people.
Did you know anyone that sniffed glue?
No.
I knew one guy who was a gypsy. We called him Rasha the gypsy.
No, we didn't. I know my dad. At that time,
He sniffed glue.
No, I know my dad actually told me stories that they were like kids, like his age, that were all about like glue sniffing and shit.
I mean, when there's no other drugs, kids are gonna find a way to do drugs.
Yeah, No, I mean, my
it-
dad was like, when he told me the story, he was like, I don't know why the fuck they did that.
As far as I know,
I mean, it looks when you put it into perspective, it looks fairly pathetic when you do it. Like you literally sit and you get this bag and you put glue in it and you're like,
yeah, it gets you
and it
fucking
gets
high.
yeah, and
It
it, and
gets
it
fucking
looks
high.
but it looks so fucking pathetic. You
Yeah.
look like a fucking rat.
I mean, so does drinking out of a paper bag.
This is worse though.
No, I mean, yeah.
This is worse.
No, I just. I wish I tried it when I was a little kid, because now I wouldn't, because I can just get drunk, you know. But back then, I wish I tried it. When did you try weed?
High school, I think.
Same. I tried it with a fucking ex-convict.
The reason why I did it is there were so many movies where you had like Harold and Kumar, you had like all these fucking like college students. Movies about college students that were like, yeah, we get the munchies,
How fucked up
we
is
get
that,
the
by
shit.
the way?
Yeah, that's
How
pretty.
fucked up is it that popular culture keeps forcing onto you the image of people smoking cigarettes and weed? It's just like they're dangling them in front of you. Meanwhile, one of them gives you cancer, and the other one is just completely banned, and you'll go to jail if you have it.
Well, it's not banned in like some countries.
It's banned in most of Europe.
In most of Europe, yeah.
I mean, especially look at the Balkans, like in Serbia. In Serbia, you got smoking weed on like television shows, series, movies.
Yeah, but the thing is,
and you're like sitting there like, wow.
They're-
Can I try this? And it's like, no, you'll go to jail.
Yeah, but the thing is with that, at least what I can tell, we have this thing that's currently ongoing. We don't have like in our TV shows, for example, which are by the way getting much better progressively. In our TV shows and our like media and shit, like weed isn't talked about. Like we don't.
In our no,
You don't.
and-
But
and
you
if,
do-
if it is talked
do-
about in one of our series, it's usually in a highly clown-like.
Yeah,
comical
but there
manner.
is a thing that I did notice. I mean, everyone noticed that shit. You have this like music movement that's fairly popular in Serbia. It's I think like trap/rap kind of thing, and just like. For example, like the standard like American rap, where they talk about weed, fucking gats and shit. They talk about that stuff too. Like they talk about drugs.
Made me do it.
They talk about drugs, but mostly about like we're walking down the street, we see the cops, we hit the weed and stuff like that. And I'm like, yeah. And the
You
problem
mean
with
every rap song ever.
yeah, and the thing is with that is like the children. They're mostly like before they go to high school, when they are in high school, when you go to a club, when you go there, they listen to it, and it's all about drugs. Here and there, a shot, drugs. Honestly, I don't, like I said, I don't, and I do know that you share that viewpoint with me, but like weed. Nobody, I believe, considers that to be like a fucked up thing. It can fuck you up.
Yeah.
It can fuck you up. Like there's
It
there's a
depends.
lot of examples,
Look,
like people
here-
who abuse it.
Here in Serbia, we
shit.
don't get the clean shit. They like sprinkle it with heroin and fucking glass dust.
Who
and,
knows what they do
Who
with it?
knows
Who
what they
knows
put
what
in
they
it?
do
So
with
it's not really clean shit. And definitely, if you have nothing in your life that's bringing you any sources of dopamine or serotonin, if you consider yourself pathetic, and if you are garbage, human garbage that believes that it does not deserve anything in life except for continuous seeking of dopamine and just treating yourself and your body like shit, you're most definitely more likely to get addicted to marijuana or alcohol or cigarettes or fucking heroin. Did I say heroin?
Yeah, listen,
Or
it doesn't.
Alzheimer's.
At the end of the day, it doesn't really matter because anything you do, like for example, I believe that a more fucked up thing than marijuana is like alcohol for sure, but it's legalized as shit. I
Yeah.
mean, alcohol causes more bad things
Dude,
in general than weed does.
You could go to an apothecary or a drugstore, whatever you want to call it. You could buy ibuprofen, like 3 whole like rows of it, and you could go buy beer, and you could easily fucking no, I'm not saying you should do this. I do not condone this. Do not do this. But the government has a bad way of stopping you from hurting yourself.
Yeah.
A very bad.
Listen, the problem is with that. It's so easy. I mean, the thing
if
is,
you want to hurt
with,
yourself, you're gonna fucking.
You're gonna
do
do
it.
it.
You're
You're
gonna
gonna do it.
They're
I
not
mean,
protecting. They're not protecting anyone by doing this shit. They're just making a budding black market trade, and they just don't have regulations for taxing these drugs. They can tax like
the thing is, this is what
nicotine and
this is
fucking
what I saw.
alcohol.
This is what I saw. I mean, it's obviously worth saying that everything that we talk about, we don't condone it. We don't say that you should drink, that you should smoke, that you should do drugs.
You
we
should do
don't.
whatever the fuck you want, as long as it doesn't hurt other people or your loved ones.
Yeah, which pretty much means that you shouldn't do that shit. I mean, anything that we said, it's pretty much a no. This is what I saw, and this is like I was aware of it, but this blew my mind. I was watching kind of like a small documentary about a guy who worked as an undercover agent for, I believe he was an investigator in the United Kingdom. And there was like these small like drug gangs that were distributing like drugs and shit. And over time, they started becoming a big problem. And now the thing is,
I'm gonna grab some water. You're going.
yeah, the thing is, he never specified the amount in particular, like what they did, what they distributed. Maybe he did. I forgot, but he essentially mentioned that after like gathering evidence, he managed to infiltrate the organization. He didn't become a part of the gang. He simply just purchased drugs for them, and every time he purchased drugs, most likely there was someone in the background that took photos, and they saw the distribution of it, and they could pin them together. At the end of the day, I think they arrested about 100 individuals, and all of those drugs that were gathered there, they confiscated them as evidence. And the officer that was his superior, he told him, and they were working on this case for like a year, 2 years, maybe more. He was like, well, we did a good job. We successfully managed to stop the drug overflow for 2 hours. The drug distribution for 2 hours.
And how long have they been working on it?
Probably a year, maybe more.
Jesus fucking
And
Christ.
that guy that was talking about this, I mean, he has a long record of like doing undercover
Yeah,
jobs.
he's like a professional.
Yeah. And he was like,
It's like he was designed to
yeah,
do this.
yeah.
shit.
And he's like, after hearing that,
I gave up.
I figured out one thing that can successfully fuck up all of these gangs, all of these drug cartels. It's simply just we stop fighting a losing fight because you can't win against them.
Yeah, the war on drugs
As
was
long
the best thing that happened for drugs.
As long he
Like,
said,
you had CIA agents, cowboys, like fucking undercover, going into the Middle East and just getting a shit ton of heroin from the poppy fields that the U.S. taxpayers were fucking financing. Like, this has nothing, like, banning drugs has fucking nothing to do with protecting you and your children. They don't give a shit about you and your children. It's about money. It's about fucking money.
and he said the
Because
best.
that shit isn't taxed.
Yeah,
You can't fucking tax. You can't fucking tax. you can't fucking tax like a ton of cocaine. That's not tax.
he explicitly said, as long as there is demand, as long as there are consumers, we can't win.
There's always
The
gonna
only
be demand.
the only way that you can win is if nobody wants to use drugs. That's how you win.
I can tell you right now, most people want to do it, but most people are afraid of taking drugs. For good reason for most of the hard drugs. But, there's people, right? Like, there's a lot of people, for example, that think if you smoke weed, you'll, like, go insane, like, forever, or you'll die, or some shit like that. Especially psychedelics. Like, wait,
thing-
psychedelics.
Listen,
good reason.
the thing with
Good
that,
reason,
the
if
thing
it's
with
not
that,
microdosing.
with weed in particular, and this is something that I've also learned at the time when I was like in that organization. They were like, yeah, there is a good chance that if you do weed, for example, that you won't go on harder drugs, that you won't go to the next level.
Yeah, a lot of people.
But
a lot of conservatives say it's a gateway.
Yeah, but they did say that there is a part of the population when they do weed, and especially if they're like afraid of it and they see that it literally like did not do any damage to them, there is a good chance that they're gonna use that as a stepping stone into the drug world, where they're going to start ingesting other things and be like,
that's people who are like predisposed to be addicted
Yeah.
to substances.
Yeah.
Like I'll tell you right now, I got it in my family blood. I am predisposed to being addicted to smoking and alcohol. I went through the alcohol thing for like a year. You were there.
you were there.
You were there. You were part of it. Vodka, just like all these fucking extreme drinks, which I'm glad it only lasted for a year and a half. Can you imagine if it went on for 10 fucking years? Like, I only need 2 beers to get buzzed now. I love it. I love it. It's literally the best thing to happen to you with alcohol. When you just need a little bit to get buzzed. Because, frankly, all you need is that buzz. After that buzz, it doesn't get better.
It's just gonna get worse.
gonna
It's just
keep
gonna
getting
spiral
worse
downhill,
and worse
especially
and
the
worse.
next morning
Oh, yeah.
when you wake up and
Yeah.
you're like, I'm never gonna do this again,
And then you do it.
and then you do it.
The last time I got so drunk, like at the point where you're like, oh my fucking god, like, why did I do this? The last time I did that was 2 years ago, and since then, when I've gotten drunk, buzzed. Just buzzed, like, yeah, man, I fucking love you.
Yeah, you
dude.
get those positive vibes, and
And I found with cigarettes now that cigarettes, for me, I should treat cigarettes just like I treat alcohol. It's a thing that I will sometimes do when, when I drink, let's say. So, not like every fucking day. Imagine drinking like 2 liters of beer every day. Like, you don't do that right now.
Yeah. I mean, that's. I mean, even that amount, for example,
Mm-hmm.
since when you say 2 liters, it's like 4 standard like cans, not small cans, regular cans.
Yeah. 4 regular
Four
cans.
regular cans is
Every day
I mean,
for 10 years.
I believe and I do know that the main thing that I've discovered with alcohol is if you're surrounded with good people, with a positive mindset, with the right crew, you can get buzzed. I got buzzed once with one beer. And I was like, man, this never happened.
You literally don't need.
This never happened.
You
And
don't
and the
need anything
and the
else
thing
after
and the
that.
thing is the person that I was drinking with, they were like, man, I got buzzed too. I don't know what it is. I don't know how I did it, but this is like the best thing ever. And I don't. There are some occasions where there's like these big reunions where I don't see some of my boys for a couple of months, maybe even more, and we see each other. We hit like a kafana, which is a natural environment for a Serbian.
Which is literally, you could call it a tavern.
A tavern. Yeah.
It's not. Now, I know people when they hear tavern, they're like, "Oh my god, that's insane!" You know, not that fucking gay shit. I say, and as we're like developing TTRPG, it's not like a tavern. It's like picture a modernized tavern
It's
with really shitty Serbian music inspired through Turkish roots.
Listen, you go into
my sister left me.
you go into a Serbian tavern, and
You don't leave.
you see a lot of old people and middle-aged people already destroyed.
You just wrecked at like 3, like
Yeah,
in the middle
and
of the day.
I'm talking about these are like the classical taverns. You have these modern ones, which are where people go to have lunch/dinner. They drink a couple of drinks, they eat, and they leave.
Yeah.
You go into this old school tavern. It's filled with smoke. It's filled with people that are destroyed. You go inside, the person that's serving the drinks, they're also like borderline destroyed because
They look
they-
like miserable.
yeah.
They look like all hope and life has left them, but they're still like, gotta do the rounds.
Yeah. And in these taverns, it's like, honestly, when you go there, you know you're going there for a reason. You want to get absolutely obliterated.
Yeah, you're going there
And-
because you had a shitty week at work, and you're like, time to.
Or
really
if there is a good, as I said, we did go to these standard taverns, to these classical taverns, a couple of
Classical
years
taverns.
ago, because they're extremely cheap,
Yeah.
and you essentially pay nothing and you get destroyed. Now, these days, though, we do go to these kind of like modern taverns where we have a couple of drinks, but they don't even buzz us. We just gather there, we eat, we talk, we catch up, and that's more or less it. I fucking love taverns, man. I fucking love them. I enjoy them. They're like the best thing ever. If you ever come to Serbia, taverns is the way
Visit
to go.
one. Get fucked up in one.
It's
Don't
a
mention
place
you're-
to go.
Don't mention you're American, though. You'll get shanked.
Yeah,
I'm just kidding. You
they
won't.
honestly
gives a
don't
fuck.
give a
Nobody
fuck.
gives a
They
fuck.
don't give a fuck. The thing
People
that I
are
love,
people are pissed at the Clintons, not the
the
America.
thing that I love about Serbia, though, and this is something that everyone can look up, is people from whether they come from like the Middle East, the Eastern countries, or if they come from like the Western countries, they always come here, and they always have a great time.
Yeah, there's a lot of Americans that ask on the internet like, is Serbia dangerous to visit? You're like, what the fuck?
Man, listen, the good thing about this is people in Serbia don't give a shit I
No,
mean,
no
for
one,
real.
No one gives, like, if you, I don't know.
They don't
Have you
give a
been
shit.
recently to the center of Belgrade? There are so many fucking foreigners. Like you hear like
Yeah.
you hear that shit. You hear like all the fucking all different languages. You hear, oh, I have visited the palace when I sucked cock. You know, well, we gotta make fun of the British because they're disgusting and they need to be removed from the wider population. But yeah, there's so many foreigners. Like I even saw,
And-
like we live in like the more rural part of Belgrade, and you know, it's all like white Slavs. It's all like white Slavs.
Yeah.
Even here, I saw like a black family.
Yeah.
And you know, I mean, now you can quote you can blame racism for this or something, but when I saw it, I was like, "Whoa, that's not. What the fuck is that? Like, not in a xenophobic way, not in a xenophobic way, because you know you don't expect to see
the
if you live in Africa, like somewhere in a Zulu tribe, let's say, if there's a Zulu tribe and you like see a white person in the Zulu tribe, which is part of the tribe, you'd be like, how the fuck did that happen?
yeah, the thing is, the reaction that most Serbians have. I mean, it's now getting significantly like to the point where no one gives a shit anymore.
No. I mean, I don't think we
the-
ever gave a shit about
at-
race.
Yeah, I mean, at
You know,
first,
you know, when I
at
started
first-
caring, I'm sorry, I'm interrupting you.
you're constantly interrupting me.
Because I have Asperger's. I'm sorry. Are you mad? Are you mad?
No, I don't. Go on.
Okay. When I started caring about race, like not caring in the way of like, oh, that's a black person and I'm a white person, like that kind of shit. When America started telling everyone they should care about race, like before, I miss those times. I miss the times where I would see like a black person and I'd be like, hey, it's a guy. That's a dude. He's a dude. You know, he's a dude. Like it's like you know, you see skin color like, oh, it's a redhead, or oh, that person has like blue eyes, or oh, this person has he's got dark skin. Okay.
It still doesn't. I mean, the thing is, in your situation, and I believe this can be somewhat similar to like people, the younger people in Serbia. I believe it's more like it's not like they're racist, but they're scared of being racist.
Everyone is
Because that's the mentality that the internet, like that's constantly like you try not to offend anyone because everyone gets easily offended. And I mean, the good thing that I love about Serbia is because absolutely no one gives a shit.
like we use I love our tourists because our tourists see black people visit Serbia, or they go to a place where there's black people and they're like, hey, what is up with my they say the N-word, like, but they don't say it. They're not like, you know, it's not like, you goddamn. It's not that shit. It's not that shit. It's not like you are beneath me and you are literally subhuman trash. That's not how That's not how our tourists look at black people when they say that. They're like, oh, it's our brothers.
It's still. I mean, no one in Serbia is going to randomly approach you and be like, and throw out the N-word.
No, not in Serbia, but they will do it overseas. Like, there's a shit ton of video
It
clips
can happen.
on
Yeah, it can
YouTube
happen. But the
where
thing
there's-
is,
and look, it's mostly teenagers, and they're like, hey, what's up, man? And they take pictures with them, and it's always like positive. It's never like, hey, look at this fucking guy. It's never like that. It's always, you know, positive and shit. And I think I know why it is. It's because, again, American culture, you know, from movies, you see like Samuel L. Jackson, you see like Ice Cube, and they're like, yeah, motherfucking N word and shit. And, you know, you try to emulate that, but, you know, you're Slavic, you're not a black person. You have nothing to do with black people.
Yeah.
And I just think it's a clumsy form of miscommunicated respect and love.
No,
Which-
anyone in Serbia, when there is a constant thing that, at least from my perspective, as long as I know, when you're close with someone, you tend to swear a lot and you tend to insult them a lot, and they tend to insult you a lot, but it's not like insulting each other in a disgusting manner, like to offend.
It's a fucked up swear.
There's some
it's like I will
when you
fuck your unborn child.
Oh, these are the extreme scenarios.
These
But
are-
I'm talking like the regular thing is when you hear someone talking over the phone, and they usually say to each other like, "Oh, fuck your mom."
Yeah, fuck your father.
Yeah,
fuck your father.
and they start laughing. Or when you visit like these taverns, the swears are thrown all over the
fuck
place.
your mother and your
And-
father in your pussy.
And no one is like getting offended. Everyone is having a good laugh. You have the extreme cases where someone gets shit faced and they want to fight with someone, so they're just waiting for a brawl to happen. But here, my mentality is, if everyone in the world had the same mentality like we do, it would be like there would be no racism whatsoever.
Yeah, no, I mean,
It would be a shit ton of other bad things.
a
Shit ton of other bad things, but no racism.
I mean, there'd be a lot of Muslim and Christian wars.
It will be fucked up.
Like we don't give a
But
shit.
that's
We
like
don't give a shit about race, but we really give a shit about like, are you Muslim or are you like Christian?
No.
I mean,
No.
we wouldn't have had the fucking wars
No.
and ethnic cleansings.
No. It really just depends on person to person. And that aspect, it really just depends, like, who was born and raised in a certain environment.
Yeah, I mean the old boomer generation. I'll say right now, the boomer generation, not the most subtle people here in Serbia. I actually did. I can't believe this fucking happened. High school, and I was like doing a bit in the middle of English class. I was reading a paragraph like a Scotsman, because I was bored, you know. And someone told me, "Hey, do it like Samuel L. Jackson," and I did Samuel L. Jackson's voice. And the professor looks at me and goes, "Hey, no N words in my classroom." And I'm like, holy shit. Like, she said it in front of fucking everybody. All 30 classmates. Why are you looking at me like that?
I don't know. I
She
mean,
literally
nobody gave a shit on my end. I mean, honestly,
I'll say right now,
Nobody gave a
she was
shit.
like obsessed with British culture, and she was very elitist, even though she was literally she had been to London once, and she was working a deadbeat job, and there was no reason for her to be elitist. There was nothing in her life that could allow her to actually become elitist, and yet she did become elitist. I don't know how it fucking happened. She thought she was like above the working class, but she was like smack dab in the classification of being part of the working class. It was weird.
I don't know. I never had these kinds of problems, and on my end, I mean I'm trying to recall. Honestly, no. As I said, I mean, especially maybe it's different. Maybe we're just speaking like in general. Maybe there are some situations in Serbia where people are like racist and stuff.
Oh yeah, against gypsies. Yeah.
Yeah, but
Yeah.
I mean, specifically, I'm not talking about
You're talking
them. I'm
about black
talking
people.
about like general, like black people,
I
Asians.
mean, there's not a lot of fucking
I believe that everyone listen.
racially charged attacks in Serbia.
Everyone. I believe that every part of the world and every society and every country has its own pros and cons.
No, everyone's a little bit racist, but that's baked into us. That's how we evolved. But it's not like when I say racist, there's like little racism when you look at a person like, oh, a black person. Like that's
I mean,
that's minute.
That's not even
racism.
racist in my opinion.
That's why it's like minute racism. It's your
It's-
brain going, oh, a different kind of person. Like,
No,
oh,
it's
a different human being.
I still don't believe that that's racist. Simply because,
But some people do in America.
yeah, I mean that's their opinion, but my opinion is, as long as you don't have any ill will, and you're like
Why
you're just kind of surprised, honestly, because if we want to look at it from a different standpoint, like when a white person goes into like China, for example, since now that's a thing that people are
Chinese
doing.
People are so fucking racist.
Yeah, they're like, "Ooh, look at that white look at
white monkey.
Yeah,
But they literally have white monkey jobs. That's how they call them.
yeah, but still, I mean, as far as I know, people that were working in China, like they usually
they
go as
got-
professors.
They got
there.
fucked in the ass now.
Yeah, they did. But before, when they could go, all those people that actually were working there, they, even though that when they like go to these places and stuff, everyone is like, oh, look at the white person, look at the white.
You
But
feel like
they-
an alien over there.
Yeah, but the thing is, he said, like, you have such a big advantage when it comes to like the opposite sex.
Mm.
He said, as a male there, like when they went there, excluding like all of these people like staring at me like I'm something special, like something different, like something exotic. He said, like, between me, which in Serbia I'm like below average in terms of looks, between me, a below average guy, and like an above average guy in China, I would easily get that girl before he could.
Nice.
Easily.
Nice.
And he's like, that's the only part that I loved about China.
Everything else was shit.
Everything else was more or less like, yeah, nothing special. But he said, like, that part, that's the part that I enjoyed. And he said, like, I still don't get it. Why?
Price to pay for salvation.
But yeah, this is like the final question, which I'm just going to throw out there, just to set up an upcoming.
I was gonna say we've been going for an hour and 37
and
minutes.
an upcoming
What
podcast.
the fuck are we been talking about? Okay, go on.
I just want to set it up because next time I'm gonna keep us on track, you disgusting little man.
Okay, yeah, we were supposed to talk about like 21st century.
What
shit.
do you think? So this final rant is gonna last for about like 10 minutes, give or take. Do you believe that people in the 21st century are they going to, like, your predictions, with the introduction with the VR and shit, with the introduction of all these like fucked up drugs, with all these introductions to like different things, do you think that people are just going to be more isolated and alienated from the society, be like their own individual unit, which is somewhat already happening? Is that going to continue being the case, or are the people going to change in terms of returning to that communal society where they try to interact more and more?
I think that there will be a new superhuman class of rich people, of billionaires and trillionaires, which will literally live forever. They will have cybernetic enhancements, chips and shit. They will be superior in every way except spiritually to the basic Homo sapiens. They will enjoy in all earthly delights, but not on this planet. They'll leave the planet because they're just gonna profit off of the destruction of the planet, through. I mean, you see what Amazon is doing, and you see Jeff Bezos, who is so focused on space, and who he's literally pouring in a shit ton of money in research on how to be immortal. There's like research where they use I don't know if they're nanites. I just know they're like those little nanobots that dislodge your arteries, when they clog up and shit. That and they locate cancer cells and they kill them and they replenish other dying cells, which literally could make you functionally immortal if the technology works and if it's properly developed. You're seeing a trend now where you are owning less and less things. Now, the perfect example would be like, look at video games. Nobody buys physical copies anymore. You buy things off of Steam and these online hosting platforms where the game is stored there, and you don't own the game. If Steam goes down, if it's shut down, you no longer have the game. You are fucked. You're essentially fucked. You don't own your internet connection. You don't own your television, because that can be very easily cut off from you. Now, you could imagine with the incorporation of a social credit system how fucked up and how easy that would be. And, the rich are getting richer, the poor are getting poorer. Nothing new. It's been exasperated during this pandemic. Small businesses are dead. If you have a small business, you're fucked. You're fucked. You have no... How can you compete against corporations that are subsidized by the government when even when those corporations fuck up and lose money, like, they get bailed out, just like banks? Isn't that a little weird? Isn't that a little fucking weird? Before it used to be like, all right, we'll bail out the banks. But now, during the pandemic, the American government had to bail out these aerospace companies. Not aerospace companies. I mean like Boeing and shit.
Yeah, isn't it strange though that people when you look at it from an economic standpoint, like certain countries that they're good economically, they're...
What does that mean? They're good economically.
Well, the pay. Well, let's just say for an average man.
Yeah, but inflation is going up, and it's going up to such a degree that your increase in pay doesn't leave you better off. You're just worse off, no matter how. You get a 1.5% increase in pay, but inflation is like 5%. You're fucked.
Yeah, but listen, the
fucked.
thing that I wanted to say is, for example, Germany.
Mm-hmm. Shit country.
Germany, we have like generally people that don't know and that are not from Serbia. You have the saying that's not specifically linked with Serbian, but the American saying, living the American dream. You go to America, you succeed, you try to get that success, get that pay, hustle, constantly work to earn
Yeah,
to get something.
just like George Carlin said, you got to be asleep to believe in it.
Now, yeah, but the thing is, we have a saying in Serbia. Well, it's not a saying, but it's
the German dream.
The German dream,
Which
where
is-
people go to Germany, they work,
And
And
they work like the bottom tier society jobs.
So, just to put it into perspective, you have Germans that are working certain jobs that are
Yeah.
considered like their common jobs, like
Mhm.
the common people do. And then you have even worse jobs than that pay even less.
I mean, it's not. They're not worse because of their nature. Like, garbage man, garbage disposal.
no.
stuff.
It's
not. They're worse because of the pay.
yeah.
Yeah.
And they do these jobs. They're underpaid, but still, when they return back to Serbia, they're like, yeah, I have all these this money they couldn't earn.
because of the difference. The
Yeah.
huge fucking difference.
Yeah. So the thing is, I mean, I do know that some people that live in Germany, they have like both of these, like both the man and the woman, they're married. They're both working. They pay the rent because they don't have their apartment, and at the end, they still save quite a hefty sum that they can use later on to go to like a vacation.
Yeah, but that's a rare thing.
Yeah, it probably
The
is. I'm
fact
just
there is a clear. You used to require only one job in the family to
Yeah.
afford a house, an education for your kids, food, water, going on vacation. That could all have been covered with one job in the past. Now, you want all of that, including like covering health bills and shit. Both of you need to work. Sometimes one of you needs to do a part-time job next to the already
the regular
9 to
one.
5.
Yeah.
I think the middle class is I don't know if it's a conscious attempt or if it's simply the effects of these clearly inoperational systems that we have in place, but it's like the system is trying to cannibalize the middle class. It's like it's being almost intentional. I'm not saying it's being intentionally destroyed, but it's, you hear like all this shit about. Have you been hearing about the Great Reset stuff?
The Great Reset?
Every politician on the world is talking about, oh, this is our Great Reset. You'll own nothing and you'll be happy. This is literally what they say. You'll own nothing,
But you'll be happy.
but you'll be happy. Like, I can literally see a future where there's no more like, hey, this is my apartment. Like, no, you're in communal housing. Like, there's no more privacy. You're being tracked through your phone. You're being tracked through a chip that you have in your hand, because now everybody needs to have chips to be followed. It doesn't even need to be a fucking chip. It can be, it already is your phone. But a chip is like, a chip never leaves you. I mean, the phone usually never leaves your side, but a chip, it's like, it's got readings, like how stressed you are, how, like, I don't fucking know, like all this medical information, like what you're addicted to, and that can be like hooked up to, advertisements. Like, oh, so he's addicted to this, and this. Let's recommend him this, and this, and shit like that. So, communal housing. And, I just think that we are going towards something that will ultimately only be good for the billionaires and the future trillionaires. Because if you notice, Elon Musk and Jeff Bezos, they're pretty fucking obsessed with leaving the planet. I mean, Elon Musk says, like, we need to make a life interplanetary if we want it to survive. Now, he says that and he frames it like, we got this. I'm doing this for the human race. And you're like, are you?
You know
Are
what?
you-
This is now the thing. Do you believe that Elon and Jeff are probably, I believe, between 40 and 50 years old, right? Or are they younger? I'm not sure.
Something like that, yeah.
Let's say 40, in between 40 and 50. So roughly, even with the best medical care and everything, do you believe that the implementation of nanobots, cybernetics, do you believe that they can be within the next 30 years? That technology
They're saying
is...
by 2050, if all goes well, they'll have the technology to like functionally make you immortal.
So 2050, 30
And
years.
do you think that's gonna be like widely available?
No,
Of course,
fuck no,
fucking
fuck
not.
no.
It's gonna be it's new technology. It's gonna be expensive, and it's gonna be there's so many rich cunts investing in this shit. Not because they want to save humanity or anything. It's never about saving humanity. Every great thing that has ever happened in the history of humans regarding technological development was a combination of brilliant minds and entities that had different ideas of what would happen if they threw money at the brilliant minds. Why was America discovered? Because a European power wanted a different route to India so they can get filthy fucking rich. Why was the moon? Why did humans land? Why did Americans land on the moon? Because there was a fucking space race, and it was purely ideological. The money was thrown there not because to better society or humans. It was done. It was told. The people were told it was because of that.
So
here's another example.
just to get your take.
Why was the field of nuclear physics highly developed in the last century? Because everybody was making fucking nukes. It's never about the safety of people and preserving the human race. It's never about that.
No, but the thing is that I want to just confirm with you. Do you believe that in 30 years? So since you said that 2050 cybernetics and all that shit is going to get implemented. Do you really believe that it's going to get to that phase like that? It's going to go perfectly, no problems. Now, do you believe that in this lifetime, so that within the next 30 to 40 years, maybe 50 years, since as I mentioned, I do know that with the best possible care, with the good diet and everything, if Jeff and Elon specifically like had the best medical team on their side, do you believe that within their lifetime they will reach that technology will reach the immortality phase?
It depends on a lot of things, you know. It depends how much money is poured in. It depends on the research teams.
But when you put it in the perspective of money,
it also depends on things that have nothing to do with that. It depends on, is there going to be a third world war? Is there going to be a nuclear war? Are we gonna get hit by a fucking asteroid? Because we're not. This is like a wake up call for people. We're like not ready for an asteroid. Like if an asteroid, if there was an asteroid, if NASA detected an asteroid and was like, hey, this thing is gonna hit us in a year, and it's going to destroy everything. The possibility of that happening, like we getting killed by it, is pretty fucking big. It's substantial. Like we could do it, but it's concerning that there's like at least 40% chance that we'd be fucked. So there's a lot of things that could happen. I think they're racing against time. The billionaires, these fucked up sociopaths, they want to outrun nature. They want to give a finger to God. When I say I don't believe in God, but let's call it like that. It's satanic shit. Satanic shit. I don't like it. I don't like it. I'm just look. You and me, we're middle class. We will not see the benefits of technological development because technology is not being developed to service you and me. It's being developed to control us more efficiently. The more I think we're gonna have some form of technocracy because you have people like Bill Gates and Jeff Bezos, and they're fucking pulling strings in the United Nations. They're pulling fucking strings over there. Bill Gates, for example, has literally taken over the climate change problem. Like, it used to be nations. It used to be sovereign nations talking about, okay, how the fuck are we going to fix this? Now it's Bill fucking Gates. A nerd. A nerd who hung out with, you know who. You know who he hung out with. I'm not going to mention it, but is that who we're leaving to fucking deal with climate change? The guy who wanted to, did you know about this? He wanted to launch gold dust into the atmosphere to combat the sun's rays to reduce temperature. He actually wanted to do it, and he was pissed off that, like, the world didn't let him. Like, who fucking knows what would have happened if he did it? Do he have too much power? It's like it's like Tony Stark was designed to be like, hey, this is what would happen if we gave billionaires the freedom to pursue whatever the fuck they wanted to do. It's like Tony Stark is the Trojan horse. But it's actually it would be way more fucked up. Way more fucked up.
This is
I mean, I could talk. We could talk about this on a whole other episode.
There's time for that. There's
so much shit to talk about. Like,
yeah, this is a fairly like fruitful topic.
I think it's gonna be part 1, part 2, like, because
most
there's
likely,
a whole lot of
most
shit.
likely there's a whole lot of shit to talk about, and just to finish things off, and this is essentially what I wanted. Where you partially did answer the topic, but this is a question, and I'm interested in your opinion. And if there's like people who decide to watch this podcast at any given point, I believe that they'll also be interested in this question as well. And I would like their takes on this too. Isn't it strange that, I mean, people, when things go bad and when things are bad, like, for example, war. War is never a good thing. War is shit. War is disgusting. But when shit hits the fan, people that are, as I said, usually like within the society, they have groups. They work together. Like in villages before, you had like a small community of 50, 100 people. Everyone knew each other. When a child gets born, they celebrate all together. You need my equipment to
it's a community.
Yeah, You need my equipment.
Everyone knows everyone.
Yeah, you need my equipment to do this. Here you go.
Yeah.
I'm gonna need your help
I'll return the favor.
Yeah.
to you.
It's how things worked. Now, this is something that, in my opinion, we completely lost. Like, it's very.
It's just natural.
Yeah.
Because as soon as we like fixed the problem of literally our children dying at birth, like, the population boom was just inevitable. And
Now,
what are
this
you
is-
what are you gonna do? What
This
are you-
is not the question that I wanted to ask you. So, people in general, like I know the situation in Serbia, it's not that great. It's not that great. We have people that are working like, as you said, like 8
2 jobs.
hours, then they go to a
Yeah.
part-time, or sometimes we even have people working 2 jobs, finish the job, go home.
a lot of
yeah.
marriages that are not happy. A lot of
Yeah,
children
yeah.
affected by
And
that.
isn't it strange
of
for
people-
for the society that's going to shit? I mean, people are, like I said, in my opinion, more and more backed away. They're very cautious. They're
Well,
isolated. They're isolated,
Serbian,
isn't it?
People from the Balkans statistically have always been cautious to
Yeah,
things,
yeah, but
isolated.
yeah, but
Mm.
the isolation
Mhm.
is tremendous. Like,
Yeah.
I mean, I recall when I was younger, and this was like 20 years ago, 15 years ago, where we had, I mean, the situation was more or less the same. We probably even had less then. And we had like people come to our house, like 20 fucking people at the same time, like dinners, celebrations, random gatherings.
My parents, me and my parents, we used to go on family vacations with like 5 other families.
Yeah.
Like that was a thing.
Yeah.
That was like going on a fucking adventure. And then it just stopped. Just because,
Yeah. And
kids grew older.
isn't it strange? I mean, as things get progressively worse, but they're also going in a certain direction. As you said, like the pay rate and everything is somewhat okay, but there's still people that are struggling. Isn't it strange that people like that are struggling and that are having like these big problems and stuff? Wouldn't it be natural to have these people have like more people that are also struggling, like forming those old school communities, like
Well, I don't understand your question.
just like it was 15 years ago, 20 years ago, when people had less but they were with other people. Why isn't that a thing right now, though? Why don't people do that anymore?
Why don't people that are not well off form communities with other people?
Yeah, it doesn't have to be a community like a village, but for example, before when you lived with your neighbors, and I mean, you still have neighbors, but the entire neighborhood would, a neighbor knocks on your door, let's have a cup of coffee and shit.
Here are the effects of globalism. Here it is. You're looking at it. Nobody bothers anyone. Your neighbor is just a person that is, in the same building as you. You don't look at the people that live in your building as, part of, like, your home. Your building is not a home. Your apartment is a home. My mom, when she used to live in her home village, her home wasn't the fucking house. Her home was the village and the fucking forest and all of that. The church, that was home. Now home is 4 walls and your screen, your laptop screen, which is designed to suck you out of reality and, make you think like, hey, we're gonna be fine, bro.
And the thing that actually, I mean, aside from that, I am aware. I'm just asking to get the take.
Of course.
Your take on this.
Do
Isn't
you
it-
talk with any of your neighbors?
Occasionally, yeah.
But
it's
do
still,
you
but
go
it's
to
still
and drink coffee with them?
No.
Do you ask
no,
them if
no.
they need any help?
no.
Why?
We
Why?
well, that's the thing. Like you said.
Like,
I
why-
mean,
why
everyone,
don't you do
everyone. At least for my end, I have like out of let's say 20 apartments in the building. I have like 4 neighbors that I'm completely good with. And we don't go drink coffees with each other specifically since more or less I'm not even
You're
here.
like polite, but that doesn't mean
Yeah,
anything.
yeah.
Doesn't mean anything.
But for example,
like
if
you compare that shit, this bullshit relationship you have with them, and the relationship that people in villages around in Serbia have between each other, yours looks like two fucking psychopaths.
yeah,
But
completely
over
right.
there, it's like they see each other every fucking morning. Hey, let's drink some coffee. Hey, you need help with this? Oh, I'm moving. I'm gonna chop some wood, and I gotta move it over. Can you help me? Yeah, sure. Hey, can you bring your tractor over next week? We're gonna start the what's it called?
We're gonna work on the plantation,
we're
on
gonna
the farm,
plant
we're gonna-
some shit,
yeah.
boy.
And this is now the to finalize everything. This is gonna be my last question, also.
I like how this is your third last question.
Yeah. But it's an interesting topic, and I want to get your take on
You
that
just see the
before we just
battery.
finish.
All right, I'm not gonna plug it in. You got 18% remaining, so you better.
This this
Here we go.
situation in general
Which
that
one?
we're in, like
The pandemic.
with the pandemic and stuff. Do you believe? I mean, not believe, but just your general
I
perception.
don't believe in anything.
Just your
Belief is fragile.
I worded it poorly. Sorry. I wanted to say. I wanted to get your take, like with the COVID thing and everything. Do you think? And I mean, you see you can luckily see the surroundings and everything. Do you perceive that people with the COVID situation that they've even more started straying off from each other, whether that be you're vaccinated or not, no, or whether that be like in general?
There's like different tiers of. They're creating 2 tiers of the middle class. They're effectively separating one half of the population from the other. With one, these ones are okay, these ones aren't okay, and there's a lot of people who are really fucking scared and who are neurotic by nature and who just want big daddy government to pull out their caressing large hand and take care of them and tell them what to do and how to do it. Like this is for some people, it's the best fucking thing that's happened to their brain, because finally they can put on the mask and suddenly you're safe. You're good. Good for you. Good job. Now, I'm not saying don't wear a mask, do whatever the fuck you want. I don't give a shit. But what was the question?
Did the COVID situation, of course,
Did
this social experiment
it,
in general manage to stray people even more and
yeah.
isolate them
Fuck
more?
yeah. Fuck yeah. I have never been more isolated. Like because there's a lot of people that are students like in Belgrade, but a lot of them are like from other cities, and in order to save money and because classes are online, they went back home and they only come here for exams and shit, and suddenly like a lot of people that I know, I don't see them anymore. Doesn't help that they don't call, which is, it's always, like I'm used to it by this point, like not getting calls from my friends. But, when you notice it, like you're like, what if I don't call these couple of people until they call me? And like 3 months later, you're like, okay. You're like, you feel the icy knife like here. And some people just yeah, it's. But yeah, definitely. There's definitely like
They managed to successfully isolate people even more, and that's that's the thing that actually bugs me quite a bit. I do believe that for your overall mental health, like yeah, you have these introverts.
oh,
that,
I'm completely deranged.
yeah,
I,
but you that
I am
we
I
don't-
am very much deranged. I like talk to myself. I like make breakfast and I make comments about it. I make snarky remarks in different voices that come out of my primordial brain. And I think it's quirky and it's fun, and I should probably make a story for Instagram or Tumblr for it. And I'm like, oh, ooh, these are my personalities. These are my gender swapped versions of me. Oh, now I'm Jim. Now I'm Samantha. Oh, when I'm Samantha, I wear a pink bracelet around my neck. When I'm Jim, I wear a purple piercing on my cock. And
and you see
there's a lot of people that have gone through that.
This-
This is kind of fucking process.
this is exactly what I'm talking about.
This is literally
You-
what people did during the pandemic. They closed themselves off, especially fucking celebrities. Celebrities have gone fucking insane because suddenly, oh no, they're not getting the attention they need. Did you see that fucking TikTok song of Gal Gadot? Like, imagine if there was no heaven. It was like people fucking dying, people losing their grandparents. Like, imagine if there was no heaven. Like, is this? What the fuck are you doing? Like, and there's like celebrities having mental breakdowns in their villas.
No, the thing.
In their villas. I know the whole argument. Like,
Yeah,
oh, we're
but
all human beings. Shut
isn't-
the fuck
isn't-
up.
isn't-
Shut up.
isn't the-
Shut up. No. You're a human being that has perfect fucking skin that you paid millions of dollars to maintain. You live in a villa. You can have slaves imported from Malaysia to satisfy your every whim. You have a home theater. You have a fucking massive bathroom. You have a jacuzzi, and you're talking about having it hard.
Yeah, I mean,
People look at that and they get even more depressed because they're like, can you imagine? How are these people, how are these fucking retards famous? Why are they famous?
and they always say money can't buy happiness. I do agree that money can't buy happiness, but
buy
it sure,
comfort.
but
it can provide
sure,
comfort, which is a good road towards
It sure,
happiness.
yeah, it sure can help. It sure can help you if you have the money. It sure can help you to.
I don't know
do.
if we were being closed in during the pandemic, and if I had a fucking jacuzzi in my apartment,
Oh, I would turn into Aquaman. For
I'd
sure.
be pretty fucking happy.
I would
I'd
turn
be
into
like, yeah,
Aquaman.
keep it going. Let's do another month. Let's do. Come on, 2 months. Come on, we can do it. Come on, you fucking pussies. What? Oh no, it's too long. Shut the fuck up. 3 months. 3 months.
Honestly, I mean, in that particular scenario, I would gather my family members, my close friends. I would consider that to be a fucking great vacation. I would be like, yeah, I can finally see my family. I can finally spend time with them. I can finally spend time with my friends.
Mm-hmm.
I would be like, thank you.
Yeah.
But yeah, everyone
that's-
is different.
but
Everyone
yeah,
is
but
different.
That's not gonna happen. We're gonna be forced into communal housing, and you're gonna get shots every 3
Now,
months.
Everything is a big question mark.
We'll see what happens.
everything-
Like next time, we're gonna talk. That this is kind of like part one.
This is kind of
This is
like part
part
one.
0.5.
Yeah, well,
we're gonna do part one next time. But I think this is our longest one yet.
Yeah, and we're wrapping it up.
I'm fucking tired as shit.
We're
Did
wrapping
you-
it up.
I was like, let's wrap it up like after the sex talk in my brain, like at 1:35. But then you're like, dude,
What do you think about climate change, dude?
Like fucking. We'll talk about that shit and all.
Yeah, there's a whole lot of things that we can talk about. No rush. Anyways, the longest episode yet.
Well, there's gonna be 3-hour ones. I gander. We're capable of
It's
it.
progressively
It's
just going to get worse,
progressively,
but we'll see. It's depending on how we feel at the time. We'll talk about things. We'll see how it goes. Thank
Ladies
you for
and gentlemen,
tuning in.
to the podcast
We appreciate your contribution.
and your very, very, very beautiful ears that are listening to our voices right now. Join us next time on
Cosmic Delirium.
Delirium.